Welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson. I'm gonna jump right in this. Of course, guys. I normally come on Wednesday or whatever after the games or whatever. Sometimes Thursday. It just depends on how busy I was, things I had to do with just being flat out tired and everything like that. But I normally try to wait till all of the ESPN guys, FS1 guys, and CBS, all these other different guys that has all these shows, and for them to sit up there and come out and say all the little things that they said about the different games that went on. Of course, I went 1-1. I had, I picked the Rams to win, and I picked Kansas City to win. I'm gonna just run down the line, and I'm gonna probably do various shows today, in and out. This will be the first one here. Never was really worried about the Saints game because the Saints really hasn't been the same. Breeze hasn't been the same since that Dallas game, as I reiterated to you guys before and whatnot. And I'm gonna just go ahead and just get this out the way right now instead of beating around the bush. Saints fans, you can stop trying to sue the NFL or Roger Goodell or whoever you call yourself trying to sue, right? It's missed calls all the time in football. All the time it's missed calls. That's the nature. That's the nature of the beast. It's missed calls all the time. Was it blatant? Of course it was. When I saw it, I'm like, oh boy, that's it. That's a big one. And they didn't call it, which surprised me. And the main reason why I think it probably wasn't called, because they didn't think the ball was underthrown, more or less. It wasn't a catchable ball in his eyes, because the guy had his back turned. It basically hit him in the back. He wouldn't have gotten the ball. The ball wasn't thrown high or anything like that. So, again, it was still blatant. But like I said, go further. But everybody seems to forget Jared Goff almost got his head tore off on the 4-yard line. No call. They scored there instead of a field goal. It might have never even went into regulation to begin with. And then let's go into regulation. Who got the ball first? The Saints got the ball first. And we all know what happened. Pass rush, blitz on Breeze, caused him to throw the ball up in the air. Guy makes the interception, basically laying on his back. Plain and simple. Go down. They didn't even get that many yards. 57-yard field goal. Game's over. Go to kick. Game's over. And like I said, they can sit up there and huff and puff, fight, bicker, bitch, threaten, and all this stuff. The game will not be played over. I don't care what it says in the playbook or whatever, something that Terrell Holmes was talking about yesterday on one of them shows. Game will not be played over. You know what I'm saying? It will not be played over. Saints get over it. First, one of the things I learned about in football, you do not leave games, especially in any of the games. Something Jimmy Johnson said years ago when Miami had that game against Notre Dame back in the day, a game that they basically won. He said you do not leave it in the hands of the referees. You don't do it. Again, the Saints have the team, have everything in place, the coaching and everything in place to be that of a Super Bowl contender. Second year in a row. Well, last year the guy missed the tackle and the guy in the divisional round game. We all know what happened there. Now you can blame it on the referee and everything, but go back to what Sean Payton did. They're on the 5 or 6 yard line, and you take Drew Brees out to put this gadget guy in. Come on, man, stop it. Stop it. I mean, now you're getting too smart for your own good, and it doesn't make any sense to even basically do that. But that's, of course, that's what they ended up going about doing anyway. And we see that cost them some points. But if you got one of the best quarterbacks of all time, what you doing taking him out? See, that's what I'm saying. People say all these different things, but if you got one of the best quarterbacks of all time, why is he out? What is he doing out at that particular point in the game? I don't care how good of a gadget guy he is. We'll see what kind of quarterback he'll be. I want the Saints to go ahead and put their money on him. We see what happens. Saints end up going back to being the Aints. All right? Kansas City game. We already know what happened there. They got goose egged in the first half that hurt them, but at the same time, they had an opportunity. They still came back and ended up scoring 31 points in the second half. Okay? Again, Brady didn't even play a stellar game. Brady threw 2 picks. Should have been 3. I'll get to that later. They ran the ball good with White and Michelle. And they played keep away. They went to old school Patriot ball back when Brady wasn't Tom Terrific or the GOAT and all this other kind of stuff. So that's what happened in that situation there. You follow? like I said, with Kansas City, again, some Andy Reid stuff, but like I said, they had the opportunities. I mean, the Andy Reid, I just wish he wouldn't have never said anything. He said, well, the guy should have told him, you can tell him, could have told him to line up. No, D Ford messed that. I was saying D Ford cost him the game, but I'm really not trying to make it like it's D Ford's per se fault, because even after that, even though the game would have been iced and I was jumping up and down, the game was iced. It was done with, right? You should know where you line up. That's the position you play. And you watch the football anyway, so you had to have known, but I don't think the young man was paying any attention. You know you're too far past, you're past the ball. And D Ford, from what I kind of remember, he's always kind of in the stand-up two-point position anyway. What he was doing at three-point, I have no idea. That might have been what the defense called for. I don't know. It's a moot point at this particular point, but it's like, that's just it. You cannot make mistakes like that against the Pats. It's just that simple. If you want to make the mistakes like that and play that kind of game the way that they play, that it's going to cost you. And it's not nothing. Pats don't never have no greatest team. They're not going to have a whole bunch of Hall of Famers. But the thing about what makes them, those guys play football over there. And I've said this to you guys time and time again. They play football over there. And the game is not over until zero's on the clock. And so you look at the plays when Edelman, when Brady was converting 3rd and 10. Edelman was open by the time he was 5 yards off the ball. I was like, that's the first down right there. I kept pointing it out. He's just running into the zone. What can you do? No pass rush. No nothing. Nothing at all. So, that's what happened in that game there. They had it. They had them. But what happened? They forced to end up, they got, Kansas gets the ball again, goes in overtime. Some poor clock management when they should have had at least 2 cracks at the end zone, end up settling for the field goal to tie it to 31-31. And then, of course, Brady gets the ball and, of course, all, rest is history. But see, that's what I'm saying. Their defense let them down. It's just that simple. There's nothing else to say. Their defense let them down. And when your defense lets you down like that, they took the ball from the 20. They drove 80 yards. They did exactly what they did in the first half, and they had nothing for it. Nothing. They trying to sit up there telling Andy Reid he should have called timeout when it was 2nd and goal. I'm like, nah, it's over. Then they got down that far. They're not going to sit up there and do anything stupid. A la Seahawks in the dang Super Bowl against them a couple of years ago. They ran the ball right up the gut. And that's what they did. They kept Mahomes up because Mahomes get the ball, it's over with. Just like it was all about whoever got the ball last. What defense was going to stay? What defense was going to be able to do something? And the Pats defense did what they did the first half. Okay, they didn't do anything the second half. The first half, you see, that's how meticulous a guy like Belichick and Brady is. Those guys it's meticulous. It's like we're not going to hold them down, but if we can get them to 3 points or whatever, or just 7 points in the first half, we're good. At least, and we'll be able to score. They're 31st ranked defense. So which defense was going to be able to make plays, maybe not the whole game, but somewhere along the line, be able to bend but not break? That's Patriots defense. That's what Patriots defenses are. Bend but don't break. 1 or 2 guys make some plays here and there. That's how it all went down. And Kansas City never made a play. Reggie Ragland made that play and whatnot. He made the play, of course. And then, of course, with D Ford being offside, and then another time when Edelman, they didn't get, Edelman thumb touched the ball, they gave it back to him, and Brady throws the interception, and the guy runs the ball, and all this kind of stuff there. That was 2. Then Eric Berry actually missed one earlier in the game. That was really 3. Then you go to the one that should have been an interception that ended the game in regulation. That would have been 4 interceptions had everything went that way. It doesn't go that way. Are them guys lucky? Yeah, you can say they're lucky, but at the same time, they continue to play football. They don't shoot themselves in the foot, especially on offense. As a team, they play basic, fundamental football. Nothing flashy, nothing this, nothing that. And the thing that ended up hurting the Chiefs was the fact, no defense. That's what hurt them in the long run. That is what hurt them in the long run. No defense. You got no defense. Just make a play. Any play. None of the guys, be it Houston, be it Ford, Be it Chris Smith in the middle, he knocked down one ball. He did nothing else. So what really needs to be, what's really is unsung in this whole game was the New England Patriots offensive line. They kept them guys in check. Them guys did nothing, and on top of that, they rushed the ball good on them. So kudos to them guys, and like nobody's giving them any props. They sit up there and shut them guys down. Period. End of story. You know, and they did it when it counted. You know, did it when it counted. So these are teams that's coming to represent AFC, NFC, and are going to be in the Super Bowl. And I'm gonna come back and tell y'all who I think is going to win. Be back in a minute.